Hello everyone, welcome to William and the Magic Box. Today on our show, we are going to have Fausto. Fausto is from Chicago in the USA. So let's see what Fausto has to say. Enjoy the interview. So Fausto, how's your day been so far? How are you today?
Well, I'm doing really good. Last week I tested positive for COVID, and I got the COVID symptoms started getting worse and worse and worse. And then I found out that I could get monoclonal antibodies from my doctor, and I did. And that's been really, really good at just stopping the disease cold in its tracks. I also took basically a supplement called methylene blue, which is a nootropic food grade dye. It's been used since the 1800s to treat malaria, and now a lot of people are using it as a supplement. And it was also very effective at dealing with the infection that was in my throat. Wow. But that so it was a real scare. And thankfully, we live in an age where we can develop quick treatments to diseases that are plaguing humanity. Now, if we can only get universal healthcare for everybody, that would be amazing. And then we can move on as a species.
So I believe that now you are recovered well now. You're feeling much better now.
Yeah, I actually almost canceled the interview because I was at death's door on Tuesday morning, and those monoclonal antibodies, along with methylene blue, it's the most powerful medicine that I've ever received in my life. Wow. That even more aggressive at stopping a disease than any antibiotic that I've ever taken. So, wow. Yeah.
I'm glad to hear that you're feeling much better now. I'm glad to hear.
Thank you so much, William. Yeah.
Fausto, so tell me, where are you from?
I was born in San Juan, Puerto Rico, which is an island in the Caribbean for British people who may not be familiar with that. So in the United States, you have North America and South America and Central America. And then there's the Caribbean, the Greater Antilles and the Lesser Antilles. And you guys may know the British Virgin Islands. So I'm on the island of Puerto Rico, right next to that. Right. And so I grew up bilingual. My mother was from Mexico, but her family's from Texas. And my father is many generations from Puerto Rico. And I grew up speaking both English and Spanish. And then I went to the United States to get my undergraduate degree. And I went to Chicago to get my graduate degree. And afterwards, I fell in love with my husband, and we've been married 21 years.
Oh my God, beautiful. Well,
we've been together for 21 years. We've been married for 5, since it was legal in the United States.
So now you are based in Chicago?
Yes, sir. Yes. William, sorry.
You can call me sir.
Yes, sir.
And what's the best part of living in Chicago, in your opinion, Fausto?
Well, I think, the springtime is beautiful. I don't know how it is in London, but I imagine that you guys have a lot of gloomy weather for a lot of the year. And then when the summer or the spring comes around and, the sun, right now it is a beautiful day outside. And it just goes to show, how dedicated I am to being a podcaster, that I will talk to anybody. And even though it's a gorgeous day, I don't know if you can even see it, but look how beautiful it is now outside my window.
Oh, wow. It's a beautiful day in London as well today. Today it's been kind of cloudy, sunny, so it's being on and off. But it's London. London is like that. You can have the 4 seasons in one day.
Oh, that's I imagine it. I've never been to London, England, but I would love to go to.
Yeah, I've been living in England for the last 17 years now. I'm originally from Brazil, and
Brazil.
I lived in Portugal for 5 years, and I've been living in England, in London, since for the last 17 years. So yeah, London is home for me now. I love being in London.
And William, what brought you to London?
My God, do you have another 2 hours? The main reason
Uh-huh.
I always loved the English speaking, the language. So I always, as a teenager, I was studying English in Brazil, and I always wanted to live in a country where I could speak English every single day. So
Oh.
back in Brazil, we have the tendency to go to America, the American
Mhm.
dream, But life sometimes takes a direction that you're not expecting. So I'm very glad that life took me to this beautiful city in London. I'm very glad to be here.
Well, you and
Also,
I share in common is that we both grew up speaking other languages, but the main language we speak to as adults is English.
yeah.
I can actually sing in Portuguese a little bit.
So sing a little bit then.
Eu quis amar, mas tive medo. Eu quis salvar meu coração. A minha casa vive aberta. Abre todas as portas do coração. Água de beber, camará. That's the Astrud Gilberto song,
Amazing.
And for people who don't speak Portuguese, it means that I was scared to love, but since I met you, you've opened all the doors to my heart, and your love is water from a canteen. It is, when I'm thirsty, you came and quenched my thirst for love.
Wow, what a definition. Fausto, so I know you are a podcaster. So tell me a little bit about your career as a podcaster.
Well, when we first started podcasting 17 years ago, there were 50 shows. All of them were audio blogs. The term podcast wasn't even being used or had shortly been coined. And I came from a background in performance art and activism. So I came out as gay at the age of 17, at a time at the height of the AIDS crisis. Wow. And there was a social imperative to tell the stories of LGBTQ people. Because we were invisible. We were not on television. We were not in movies. We were not in newspapers. We were, not seen and not heard. And we had this call to action from the youth group that I was involved with that said, you have only one life to live, fearlessly be yourself. And so it was asking people to come out, to tell their stories. As that journey, I got involved in theater and performance art, and I did cable access, which is a type of television that basically is funded by the government to allow marginalized or disenfranchised voices in the community to be celebrated. And so I, in drag as Faustina, I did a talk show for a couple of years and won some awards for it. And wow. When podcasting became a reality, we were doing at the time a musical variety show with me and my husband. And we started this podcast 17 years ago. We called it Feast of Fools. And shortly after that, we changed the name to Feast of Fun. And the podcast shaped what podcasting is today. A lot of the conventions that podcasts do today, which is a mixture of reality television with documentary, with conversation, an intimate conversation between friends, is something that we started doing when there was nothing else to copy, nothing else to do. And to this point, we've done over 3,000 shows. And wow. We're celebrating 17 years, and we've talked to everybody in the world.
Oh my God, amazing.
It's really an extraordinary honor, and I'm very privileged and very happy to be able to shape such an important medium. And I think it's one of the best mediums in the world, and definitely one of the best things on the internet. It's not just the fact that anybody can do a podcast, but the fact that people have since then developed podcasting to be about a wide variety of subjects and topics. And so you can always tell a new show because they're sort of very undetermined, undefined. So Feast of Fun is an interview with artists about their journey, about the creative journey of people, especially LGBTQ people, how they make work, how they find the inspiration and creativity, and their adventures that they come in. And we talk a lot about our favorite television shows from the 1980s and movies and pop culture wrapped up in a candy coating of camp.
Daisy, my goodness, my goodness. It's a lot to talk for sure.
Absolutely, yeah. And, I think one of the most exciting, interesting things is that our show has been kind of a think tank for a lot of really great, interesting ideas. And sometimes people credit us and sometimes they don't. One of the biggest claims to fame is the designer of the title sequence from one of our web series, Cooking with Drag Queens. Daniel Quasar is the person who designed the progress flag. And the lesbian pride flag is based on a design that I did in 2008, which was stripes of warm and cool red colors, symbolizing different shades of lipstick. And that got copied and slightly modified over the course of the years to become the lesbian pride flag. So I'm a man designed the lesbian pride flag. Although I consider myself non-binary, but I present as male to the world most of the time. It is sort of a interesting irony.
Amazing. Okay, Fausto. So through the journey, I'm going to explore a little bit more about your career, about yourself, and about your experience in life. Okay?
Okay, I'm here for you, William.
Amazing.
Vámonos. Ándale.
Ándale. Are you ready?
How do you say let's go in Portuguese?
Vamos.
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 Portuguese is a very sensuous language.
Are you ready to go on a beautiful journey through your memories life and to share your point of views?
Is that a question? I'm here.
Welcome to William and the Magic Box. So I have here my best friend.
Magic. Box, yes.
The magic box full of random fun
magic box that's stuffed full of goodies.
I'm just gonna play a song now just for us to move a little bit before the first question, okay?
Okay.
Let's do it. Fausto, before we start the game, through the journey, if there is a question that you don't want to talk about for some reason, you don't want to answer, I always can change, okay? It's all very friendly.
Perfectly fine, yes.
First question for you is, what does success mean to you?
Success is being able to take care of yourself and find inspiration in the everyday things. And finding food, finding peace, finding joy. Success is it's ephemeral. It comes and goes, and sometimes there are days where you're like, this is great, and other days where it's not so good. And if you've been in this career for as long as I have, there are times when you are, one of the top, our podcast was one of the top 10 podcasts for 3 years, for 2006, 2007, 2008. We ranked higher on the iTunes music store podcast directory than Howard Stern's show. But that's not the case today. So what I tell people to do is, like, in your passions in your careers, it's really important to understand that there's going to be harvest times and times of scarcity.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And so you wanna be doing this kind of work, whatever work it is that you do, because you're passionate about the mundane times as much as you are the times that are celebratory. And, we used to tell people, like, come out of the closet, be yourself. And I don't think that's enough anymore. I think we need to tell people to pursue their dreams. And the pursuit of your dreams is the beginning step in a very long journey. It's not the end. It's not the middle of the step. It's the first step you take.
Absolutely. And success comes with time. Success comes with experience and time as well. For sure, you'll be there.
Mm-hmm. Well, and success can not mean, a lot of people think it's money, and success can take many shapes and forms.
Yeah, it's very personal. Yeah. Success is a very personal thing.
Well, it's for you to define, and for you and your community to define together. Absolutely. Right? Because otherwise you're just delusional. You're going to fake it till you make it.
Okay. Next question. Let's do it. Next question.
Yeah.
Question is, what do you think people need to know about each other before they start a relationship?
Say that again. What do people need to know before they start a relationship?
About each other, yeah.
What do they need to know about each other? Well, that's a good question we get asked a lot about from our listeners is like, how will I know if he really loves me? I say a prayer, and part of it is like, you have to understand that every single relationship, even you and I, William, is a relationship. It may be long, it may be short, but just because a relationship doesn't last as long as we wanted it to, does not mean that it is a failure. Because all good things do come to an end. And, in terms of relationship, the most important thing we can do for each other is give each other unconditional love. You are worthy of being loved just the way you are. You don't have to do anything else. And the first step to loving someone unconditionally is to listen.
Very good point. And through that 21 years of relationship, what's the most beautiful lesson you learned from your partner?
What did I learn about my partner? I learned all kinds of things.
The most beautiful lesson.
Well, I think part of it is, we sometimes think about a partner as somebody who likes the same things we do. And the best thing you can do is find someone who complements you as opposed to likes exactly the same things you do. And my husband is somebody who really has a wonderful sense of humor and complements my sense of humor very well. And is also somebody who really appreciates rest and relaxation and the quiet times. And so, I'm every single day like my dog waiting for daddy to come home. And I jump on him, just like our dog.
Sweet. Next question. Let's do it. Before the next question, Fausto,
Yes.
Tell me, what do you like the most about being a podcaster? And of course, there is always a challenging part as well. What that would be?
Well, the challenge is making money. You can, like Aretha Franklin was doing Pizza Hut commercials, for crying out loud. So you can be very famous, very recognized name, and still struggle to pay your bills. That's why I tell people, like, success comes in many shapes and sizes, and it may not be the success that you want it to be. And so for me, the thing that I've learned that I enjoy the most about podcasting is the playfulness, the energy of discovery and connecting with another person, and being able to tell the stories of people who are never heard and never seen to the rest of the world. We have hundreds of thousands of listeners every week who tune in and download our show, and they're hungry for that community and that experience that they have with us. The difficult part sometimes is when people have an idea or an expectation of what they're going to experience on any talk show, and that doesn't meet up to their expectations, because they put so much responsibility on the show to do for them that the program can't do. And I don't know if you experience this, William, but it's like when you have guests who have these, think that their appearance on your show was not successful because it didn't raise their numbers on Twitter or Instagram. Fausto Fernos, plug there. But in the name of the podcast, we have actually two podcasts, Feast of Fun and Let's Grow Big Together, a podcast about bodybuilding and our common passion for muscle and wellness and health. So we talk to a lot of different bodybuilders about their journey and how they're building these massively big bodies. And so, I just turned 50 years old this year. And I've always told people, fearlessly pursue your dreams, be yourself, pursue your dreams. So one of my dreams is to compete in a bodybuilding contest. So this year, working with a trainer and trying to raise funds to be able to afford, because it's like a lot of money, a lot of supplements, a lot of food, and enter my bodybuilding competition in the fall of 2023, of fall next year, and win myself a sword.
Yes.
And
yes.
slay the competition. Literally.
Good one. Next question is, if you had only 24 hours of life, what would you do?
I'd be running around going, oh my God, I have 24 hours left to live. That's maybe the question should be like, if you have very little time to do something, what do you enjoy doing the most? And really for me, it's like being outside, enjoying good weather, and being with friends and family, and good food, and just enjoying life. For my 50th birthday, that was my birthday. Usually with birthday celebrations and milestones, it's a lot of pomp and circumstance, a lot of spectacle, a lot of money being spent. And what we did is just got around with good friends and had some good food and enjoyed each other's company. And I would say it was my favorite birthday party yet.
Amazing. Very good. Yeah. Ready for another one?
Yeah. I'm here for you, William.
Let's do it. Okay, Fausto from Chicago. Next question for you is, what is the most beautiful thing someone has ever done for you? The most beautiful thing anyone's ever done for me is just to listen. I have a very sweet, good parents. My father's not here anymore. He died in 2006. My mom is really, really old right now, and she's about to go. And although her health is much better, she's in a nursing home. She's in an assisted living facility. And, the most beautiful thing that I've ever gotten is just to understand what unconditional love is like, and to have people in my family that really listen to me and love me unconditionally, regardless of who I am. Being a gay guy, did you always have the support of your family?
I'm very lucky. My mother's best friend in high school was Terrence McNally, who's a very famous playwright. And he came out he was in love with my mother. And he came out to her as gay in the 1980s, before the AIDS crisis took place. And even went to Puerto Rico to visit her, which was a big scandal while my father was away. And people were like, there's a man visiting your mother by himself. Where is your father?
Wow.
And Terrence is somebody who, and other people in my life who came out, who took a chance and told their stories to my mother and to my father, made it really easy for me to come out as gay. I was scared, and certainly, there's people in my family. Sometimes people think about being accepted by the family as like either 100% or 0%. You get kicked out or you're embraced, and sometimes people don't realize that, lack of acceptance or hostility can take place of indifference, not wanting to see or hear another person, and I think we want to make the world a better place for other people. We want to make sure that the people at work, on our teams, and our communities are not just heard, but they're seen. They're truly like appreciated for who they are. So we don't want tolerance. We want to be loved unconditionally.
And how old were you when you came out?
I was 17 years old.
Oh yeah, you mentioned before. Wow, very young. Wow.
Yeah.
Next question. Let's do it. Okay, Fausto. Next question is, describe yourself in one positive word and one negative word only.
Oh, chaos.
Is the positive or negative?
And both. Yeah. Funny thing is that people used to compare me to Loki, which is the trickster god in Nordic mythology. Now everybody knows Loki because of the Avengers. And my name is Fausto, which everybody goes, the devil. And I am 50 years old, and everybody goes like, you look amazing. I go, I agree. But the thing about it is, I joke about this. I'm part vampire, so I'm not 50 years old. I'm 500 years old. But, so I don't look that good for 500. But, the thing about it is, for me, it's like, my name is a fate that I was given to by my parents. And the name Fausto means in German to be lucky, to be triumphant. The word Fust, Fausto, and first all share the same kind of origin, right? Woo! I win, yes! Faust is to be triumphant, but is the story of the Bible, the Job, where man's faith in God is tested by taking everything away that he dearly loved. The story of Faust is the opposite. Man's faith in God is tested by giving him everything he ever desired. And you just have to watch the movie or read the book to find out how it ends.
Next question for you. Let's do it.
Yes.
Right, before the next question, when you think about Puerto Rico, what's the best memories that comes to your mind?
My happiest memories in Puerto Rico is walking through the rainforest at twilight and hearing the rainforest come alive as the sun goes down, and you hear all the sounds of the birds and frogs, the little coquis going. And, the rainforest is a magical place. It's the rainforest in Puerto Rico, the really beautiful ones are just as magical as the forest of Avatar in the movie. What is it? Pandora in the movie Avatar. Excuse me. It's the same kind of wonderland. There's like every kind of species and creatures running around, and the El Yunque tropical rainforest is a government. It's a wild national park where it has a little path, and you can walk around the rainforest, and you can only take pictures, keep happy memories, and leave behind your footprints. And if you litter, they will arrest you and put you in jail.
Do you still go there very often?
Not often as I'd like, because it is expensive for me, and so it's a sacrifice to go down there. But I love going down there.
Mm-hmm. Next question
is where my soul lives. Where that is where when the day I die, God forbid it's not soon, they will cremate me and spread my ashes in the rainforest of Puerto Rico.
Good one. Next question is, who is the most influential person in your life?
Well, I stand on the shoulders of giants, and I've had some amazing teachers, really good teachers. In terms of somebody who influences me a lot, and I think about every day, is the work of the public television and children's educator, Fred Rogers, best known as Mr. Rogers. Mr. Rogers is somebody who would say things like, you are worthy of being loved just by being you. And, it's easy that when we live in a world that doesn't understand that, or when we run into people who have not been unconditionally loved, it's really important to remember that they too are worthy of being loved just by being them. And there's a lot of good we can do for each other and for ourselves just by listening. And so, for me, it's like people ask me, what is it that you do? And I say, I'm a professional listener, even though I'm talking a lot. Usually I'm on the other side of the coin, interviewing people or having conversations. So like the difference between an interview and a conversation is that, an interview is you're going to ask questions and you wait for the other person to answer like we're doing now. But a conversation is like, if something I say sparks something you'd like to say, you say that, and it becomes like a game of where we're tossing a ball back and forth to each other.
Yes.
And so, the work of Fred Rogers is and Fred Rogers is somebody who really has influenced me quite a bit.
Good one.
Mm-hmm.
I have 3 questions left for you, okay? Let's do it.
Am I passing the test? Do I win something?
Fausto, before the next question, tell me what was the most challenging part to put your podcast together to start the show?
Well, what the most challenging part is that there was no other podcasts in the world, and so trying to explain to people what a podcast was really hard. So people are like, podcast? Ugh, that word sounds so ugly. So, it's easier today to tell people, hey, come on our podcast. They know exactly what to do, experience. Although some people, they're still shocked when I was like, we're going to be talking for 45 minutes or longer. And it's just like, some people only used to like 10-minute interviews. And so, in terms of putting it together, part of it was just getting people invested in that dream, in that journey, in that passion. But that's something I've always been very good at explaining to other people, is how to see the value in what I do. And so, for me, that's the difficult part, was really just living with that uncertainty that this was something that could have been devastating for us. We've really rustled a lot of feathers over the course of 17 years. And, we got into legal battles with Russian oligarchs. We got the head of a nonprofit, fired. We didn't get them fired. They just said terrible things on the show, and it aired. And as a consequence, they were asked to resign. And part of it is like, we don't want people to have an experience where they feel like they were taken advantage of or not celebrated. And so, that person, you have to be a pretty rotten person to come on our show and have there be a controversy over it. But, when you stand for love and equality and justice, some people don't understand that, and they can get upset about it, and because it goes against their values. And so when you're doing that, you're going to, it's not, our show's not for everybody. It is not for everybody. It is for us. It is for the guests, and it's for the people who listen. And everybody else, they can find other podcasts or go walk children in nature, enjoy the sunshine, enjoy the beautiful weather outside. You don't, I think that's a mistake that a lot of people make when creating content on the internet. They have this universality. And I'm like, it doesn't matter that your show means everything to everybody, because it can't, because you're a human being. There's a lot of things I don't care about, but it's that just because I don't like something doesn't mean that I have to like destroy it or hate it,
Do you think nowadays with the pandemic, do you think the podcasters, like it's grown since the pandemic started? Do you think a lot of people, they started invest more, in the podcast world, do you think, or not?
Well, during the pandemic, a lot of people started podcasting that had said in the past they had no interest in podcasting. Mm-hmm. And so that's kind of like, to me, and a lot of people do, unfortunately, imitate things because they don't have a voice in themselves. That's why it's so important to read books. It's important to learn how to research because otherwise you're just going to be a one in a million, but you can stand out from the crowd if you feed good ideas into your mind, so you can feed good ideas and stories to your audience, right? And so that means, for every hour you spend recording, you want to spend 10 hours researching and writing and reading, you know, and so we're one of the few podcasts that interviews authors because we actually read the book. You know, and that's like the thing that when I'm listening to podcasts, I can usually like spot somebody who's like not prepared, just because they don't know anything about the guest. They don't know about their lives. And, you know, part of it is like I tell people is like, you want to prepare in the sense that you want to know what the question's going to be, what the answer's going to be like. So then when you're surprised, you get a genuine reaction, and you can ask them questions that they've never been asked before, because a lot of people that we come on are very well-known artists or entertainers and bodybuilders that we talk to, and we want to ask them questions that they've never contemplated before. And the only way to do that is to research and learn about the person before you talk to them. And, you know, the thing about it is too, it's like one thing I've discovered in interviewing so many bodybuilders is, you know, a lot of them have their father right there in the front of their mind. And so when you ask about bodybuilders about their fathers, they have a lot of stories and a lot of feelings to share.
Next question for you is, what's the strangest or the funniest gift have you ever received?
Oh, we've got a lot of strange things. You know, over the course of the years, we asked our listeners to stop sending us food, just because it's a safety issue, you know, because most people are going to do, you know, have good intentions, but there's always going to be somebody who's out, you know, want some crazy person out there out to poison a batch of brownies and kill you, you know. So we asked people not to send us food, but one time we got a shipment of exotic dried fruits from Indonesia, and one of them was durian fruit. I don't know if you're familiar with durian.
No, I'm not.
It's one of the most intense, pungent smells. And so it was this dried durian fruit that looked like a vagina. And so we opened it up, and the stench of this dried fruit, we had to throw it out right away and open up all the windows. It was unbelievably nasty, you know. In fact, I don't think you can even import certain durian products, because if the can opens or the bag opens, it just stinks up the whole, you know, room, and it's like toxic warfare. And I think that person sent it because they were hoping we would have a strong reaction to it, and you know. So, like, to me, that's the strange. You know, I get a lot of art made by young people. We got paintings and blankets and you know, sculptures, and they're really amazing and wonderful. And we thought about starting like an art gallery of art made by the listeners, but you know, it's meaningful to us and to the audience. I don't know if other people might, you know, understand or see the value in those works of art, you know.
And you knew the person who sent to you this strange gift?
No, we had no idea. We didn't know. We don't know any of these people.
Oh my God.
So, you know, you have to have trust. And we try to respond to every message, every email. We never say no to interviews. You know, because part of it is like, it's a mission, right? We're here to talk to the world, you know?
2 questions left. Let's do it. Right. Tell me something negative that happened to you that came out as a positive thing in the end.
Well, you know, I tried not to focus too much on negative things, you know, but I say man's rejection is God's protection. And sometimes when somebody says no to you, it opens up the door to new relationships that are wonderful. But it doesn't mean that it doesn't hurt. You know, there was a very well-known television program that we used to interview a lot of the guests from that show. And a couple people involved in that television program had a lot of jealousy and a lot of unresolved emotional issues. And they put all that stuff on us. And as a consequence, they worked with a nightclub here in town, and they put a clause on their contract that we could not only interview, but socialize, talk to the guests from the program. We were blacklisted.
Wow.
And when I first saw it, I was like, oh, this has got to be a joke, you know? Like, who's going to take that seriously? And of course, you know, half of the people like sign that contract and they ignore it anyways. But it became a situation where I was like, why am I, you know, chasing after these terrible people? You know, it's like, and my life is much better. You know, our audience is happier. The quality of our show is better because we don't spend as much time pursuing over people who don't appreciate or value what we do. You know, and if I could say that to people, it's like when someone says, I don't want to talk to you, it's okay. And you really wanted to talk to them, you wanted to have that friendship, that relationship with somebody, and they're saying no, you know, it hurts. It hurts really bad. And mourn and take time to cry and, you know, watch your favorite TV shows and eat your favorite food and sit in the sofa and mourn that death. But understand that, you know, tomorrow there will be a better relationship, a better experience awaiting for you. Because that person, that terrible person or that terrible institution was taking up space in your life, and now you can have a better life without them. Man's rejection is God's protection.
I'll remember that.
Yes, William.
Ready for the last one?
Yes.
Let's do it. Let's
play me the music.
Fausto, before the last question, through those 2 years that the world went upside down regarding the COVID crisis, personally for you, what's the biggest positive impact that brought to your personal life, and also the negative one, what that would be?
Well, you know, there's a lot of I lost a lot of friends. A lot of people died that I cared for during the COVID pandemic as a result of COVID. And having had COVID myself, I was just like, oh my God, am I next, you know? And part of it is, you know, trust that as human beings, we can overcome anything. That we are much more resilient and amazing than we think of ourselves to be. You know, there are times when you just feel, especially the COVID pandemic, I mean, it was the Trump administration, so much greed and incompetence and just plain rotten, horrible things in the world, you know? And for me, it was so important to focus and look to people who are helping others. No matter how bad a crisis is, there's always going to be, look for the helpers. Look for people who are out there working to overcome these obstacles and draw your attention and your energy towards them. Because otherwise you're going to get swept away with the current of terrible things, you know. And with the COVID pandemic, it was like a situation we didn't know this was going to be the end of the world. You know, we started joking. It started off so ridiculous, like people hoarding toilet paper. What a strange, you know, when Trump became president, I was like, well, I hope we don't have a nuclear holocaust. You know, this is somebody who could certainly launch a nuclear weapons, just like Vladimir Putin's threatening to do so right now, you know. And fortunately, cooler heads prevailed, but we did have a lot of incompetence in our leadership and other leaders. And it's part of it is coming to the realization that you are tomorrow's leaders. You're not just tomorrow's leaders, you're today's leaders. Everybody is a leader to somebody. And good leadership is an act of selflessness, is an act of servitude, is an act of giving more than you receive, is an act of being to leave the world and your community a better place than you found it. And so, you know, in terms of the COVID pandemic, I think what became really important and very critical is just understanding that you have an amazing capacity to heal and to give love to others, that when you are spent and empty, there is still more inside you.
I think at the end of the day, I think the COVID crisis became a political matter in the end of the day. You know what I mean? People are more, let's say, focused on that than the good parts, or even protect themselves, I believe.
Well, we have a lot of people who are just like, I have coworkers who are like, I'm not getting a vaccine. I don't want to wear a mask. And it's really hard to be around those people, And part of it is like, you're wanting, your instinct is to try to persuade them to change their perspective. But, it's really hard to change other people, but it's very easy to change yourself. And so you have to think about like, what changes can I make in myself in order to be somebody who hopefully creates a pathway for other people to live a better life for themselves.
That's the biggest challenge for ourselves. Let's look at it.
Well, we live in so much misinformation out there, and part of it is like, I ask myself, like, for the majority of podcasts, I think we tend to overcome that misinformation just by having conversations. Like somebody who's going to listen to this show, William, they're going to have to really invest time and energy to get through this program, to get some kind of wisdom, some kind of good experience. And that can only happen when you are in a receptive place, but you're also speaking honestly from your heart. And, it's hard to be deceptive. It's hard to be manipulative when you have two people spending a long period of time talking and listening to each other. Doesn't mean it doesn't happen. I mean, look at Joe Rogan, I mean, the only reason that man makes money is because he's a right-wing puppet, And if he wasn't funded by some pretty nasty, rotten people, he wouldn't have an audience, So what's interesting about the internet too is that you can create this illusion that somebody's bigger than they are or smaller than they are, just because they, challenge your values or your system of money making, and that's why Russia invaded Ukraine, is because the Ukrainian politicians and President Zelensky was interfering with their ability to be oligarchs. Literally, that's what happened. And so this war in Ukraine that's taking place right now is really one of the last battles we will have for the future of humanity, because this is about not just about Russia and Ukraine. This is about people and money and greed and evil.
Power.
And power, the insatiable lust for power. And, it's one thing that I've did a lot during being sick with COVID is I watched old reruns of the TV show Dynasty from 1985. Are you familiar with this show at all?
I am. I watched it. I mean, a few episodes, but I know which one is.
and it's a farce. It's a comedy, but at the time that it aired, a lot of people didn't see it as such. And it's about these, wicked, corrupt, or messed up people who insatiable lust for power and money makes them do terrible things. And you're watching this at home and you're like, ooh, but the villains are much more interesting than the heroes, So
she got the whole attention. She got the whole attention of the series, the bad girl.
Well, and the show in 1985 had a lot of gay characters and gay storylines, and it was so ahead of its time. It really shows to the visionary of Aaron Spelling, who, he's somebody who we will probably forget about Aaron Spelling, but his influence will be felt for generations to come. He's somebody who created modern television, what shows are like. And, I guess in some ways, like, everybody listens to a podcast today, but they don't think of who created podcasting, who was the first people who did this kind of show. And that was me and my husband. And we will be forgotten, but our legacy is in every single podcast in the world. You know, every time you listen to a podcast and it's friends sharing quality time together, laughs and information and stories, that came because a gay couple in Chicago decided this was what they were going to spend decades of their lives doing. So, you know, it makes me very, it's a very humbling experience to understand that we will be forgotten, but our lives and our dreams continue on in others.
Last question for you is, what would be the title of your memoir?
All I had to do was listen.
One.
That's it.
Simple like that.
All I had to do was listen.
Okay, Fausto, it's not the end yet. Let's play now the word association game, okay?
My goodness.
I'm going to give away some words. Just tell one word that comes to your mind. Quick thinking, okay?
Sure.
So, I hope you are enjoying the interview. Before we do the word association game, don't forget to give a like, don't forget to share this video, and also don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Just click on the button right there. Thank you so much and enjoy the word association game.
Sure.
Let's start with family.
Oh, love.
How about money?
Stinky.
One word for love.
One word for love? Family. Well, wait a minute. This is a trick question. You just asked the question again. You know, when we said money, I thought about green, because with money also comes with possibility of growth. And then I thought about like the smell of money. I've been trying to train my dog to fetch a dollar bill, and he won't do it. He won't want to put the money in his mouth. He'll eat garbage. He will eat poison, things that will kill him, but he won't touch money. And I'm like, why is people who are out there listening, can you explain that to me, please?
One word for life.
Life. Vida in Spanish, but life is breath. Inhale and exhale. And, you know, all growth, life is growth, and growth does not happen in a linear thing. It is like a breath. It goes up and down. Right? The universe is breathing, is expanding and contracting at a very slow rate that it's hard to perceive. But just like the spring and summer and winter, fall, and our lungs, life, it breathes in and out. And growth and life is not exponential. It does this, you know?
Right. One word for sex.
Sex is connection, is tension.
Politics.
Politics, it is community.
Religion.
Religion is community.
Fear.
Politics and religion actually are the same racket. For, you know, the thing about it is, it's like, you know, you don't want to have religious people in politics, and you don't have political people in religion. But, you know, it's very much about building community and listening to each other. Yeah.
How about fear? One word.
Fear is ignorance.
Friendship.
Friendship is complementary.
Desire.
Desire is your hunger.
Regret.
Regret, it is loss.
Success.
Success is peace.
One word for wish.
Wish is dreams.
Happiness.
Happiness is enjoying the connections that we have with each other. I know I'm not following your game, but I'm not a dictionary, damn it, William.
One word for Chicago.
Chicago. It's the city at the edge of the lake. It was a city that was on the edge of tomorrow. It was where the World's States Fair took place one time, and half of the city burnt down. And they, instead of building businesses or private property, they turned into a public park. And that is where the Lakeshore Drive and the Chicago's Lakeshore exists today. It's a giant public park where anyone, rich or poor, smart or dumb, of American or outside of the country, can come and enjoy the beautiful weather and the sunshine and each other. You know, so Chicago is a very unique city.
One word for USA.
USA is hurting right now. It's a country that is the precipice of greatness or great calamity.
One word for Puerto Rico.
Puerto Rico, enchantment, is the jewel of the Caribbean. It is where my soul lives.
Define in one word Feast of Fun podcasts.
Feast of Fun podcast is
one word.
Celebration.
And one word for Let's Go Big Together podcast. One word.
Dreams.
Beautiful. Let's pretend now I'm going to meet your lovely partner for a coffee, and I'm going to ask him, what is the most beautiful thing about Fausto, and what's something that he still needs to work on, to improve on? What he would say?
Well, I would say, Mark loves my ability to connect with other people. That's something I do 7 days a week at every job. No matter what job I have, I am connecting with other people and I'm listening to them. And one thing that I can grow on is to be more organized.
Interesting.
Because when you're married to somebody, it's like usually the fight's about who's washing dishes and stuff. And it's sometimes when you fight with your spouse, you're really fighting with yourself, and the reflection of you. My sister said, it's like, you and your husband look so much like each other. And even I like looking at photos of myself and I'm like, is that me or is that my husband? It's like, it's terrifying. But when you're 500 years old, what else are you going to do?
Let's play now Fausto and the Magic Box, and you can ask me a question. But okay, you can ask me a question now, Fausto.
William, what's your favorite Brazilian food, and do you have a good recipe for it?
Right, my favorite Brazilian food, we call it feijoada. So feijoada, it's a mix of black beans with some different kind of meat.
Stew.
Yeah, so we mix all of that, and also we eat with some flour on the sides, with some rice as well. Some are half orange, so you can kind of like squeeze little bits on the top of it, and with some spinach on the side. So that's my favorite because it's quite heavy actually. It's very traditional in Brazil. We eat that mostly every Sunday, like late lunch. And I say late lunch because you're not going to have dinner for sure after that because it's very heavy. And
it's a very heavy meal, yeah. I've had feijoada, yeah.
Ah, really? Did you like it?
Yeah.
Did you like it?
I'm not a big fan of very meaty sausage stews. I do like sausage, but not so much. Oh my God, it is so heavy. I used to be a cabaret singer at a Brazilian restaurant. And that was one of the items on the menu, but my favorite was definitely I like Brazilian paella. Oh, it's delicious.
Love paella as well.
Yeah, what do you like in your paella?
I like to mix. I like when you put seafood and meat as well. Mix. That's what I like, the paella.
And what is an ingredient you have to have in your paella?
Red peppers.
You like
Like
fresh red peppers?
chopped red peppers. Yeah, I like it.
Yeah.
It gives
But in terms of seafood or meats, what is like you don't care?
No, don't care. Yeah, I like both mix.
I think it's very important for people listening right now. Make sure you put mussels in your paella. Because mussels add a flavor that's and that's good for gumbo. It's good for any seafood stew. Mussels are just really. I know they're very like northeast coast or Thailand. Thai people love mussels, but they add a really critical flavor to broths, and of course, saffron.
Yeah.
What's if you weren't William? Right now, you're putting a lot of energy into doing these interviews with people that you don't necessarily know too well, and you're sort of running around and talking to everybody. Why are you doing this? What do you want to get out of this?
Right. Everything started through the first lockdown. I think all of us, we found the uncertainty was there. I felt myself in a very dark place. I didn't know what was going on. I think no one knew it. And I always wanted to do something creative on YouTube. And this kind of interaction, that's asking question, it's always, even like when I look back as a child, as a teenager, I always done that. I go around, go like, oh, tell me your favorite teacher. Who was your favorite, like which one's your favorite color? This kind of connection, interaction with people around me, always done. So when the first lockdown hit, I literally went for a run in the park one day, and this idea just came along of, putting together different random questions and inviting people around the globe where I could connect with them. And through the questions, I could get to know a little bit more about them, what they up to, what they like in life, what their experience are. And so that's the whole thing about the podcast. Just, connect with people around the globe and let them be themselves, and they could share some experiences, life, point of views through the questions, the random questions that come along through the Magic Box. So yeah, this literally was a genuine project that I started out, and I've been doing since October 2020. I started put things together, and it's been 1.5 years now, and it's been a dream of connect with people around the globe. And so I feel so fortunate and lucky that I can hear so many beautiful stories, challenge stories, around the globe, with people sharing their experience in life, and also they're connecting with other people as well around the globe. And that's what is fascinating. I've received messages of people that for example, the other day, last weekend, I received a message from a photographer from New York, from Connecticut, and he's connected with a model who's been on the show as well from New York. So now they did the work together as well through the show. So that's amazing. People already connect with each other because they met through the Magic Box, and I think it's just a dream coming true.
So you see yourself as a matchmaker?
Good question, actually. I never thought about that. I don't know. Good question, actually. I see the show as a open of opportunities. I think things gonna come with time, and I think whatever is out there, whatever expect after the show, it will be. So yeah.
And are you guys like, in terms of lockdowns, is everything in London lifted? Or are you guys still?
We still, with everything now, it's kind of back to normal again. There's a few restrictions still, but it feels like normal now. I feel like back, all the clubs are open, restaurants, theaters, cinemas. So everything is back to normal again. There's always still some restriction around. You need to, have whatever you go, depend the place as well. But mostly right now, it's all back to normal now, I believe.
Well, were you? I was on an airplane when they lifted the restrictions on the masks, and it was like, it was a very tense plane ride with half of the people were like, "What's going on?"
Yeah, it's they still encourage everyone to wear masks, the public transport and some places as well. But it's not a must anymore. When I get the tube, I see like 1 or 2 people wearing masks, but mostly everyone else is not back to normal again, I would say. Fausto, did you have a good time? Did you enjoy the interview?
It's lovely to talk to you, William. How do I pronounce your last name? Ribeiro?
Perfect.
Oh, okay.
Ribeiro, yes.
Ribeiro.
Thank you so much for taking the time for the interview. Thanks so much for, for being ready and to share your energy, your good energy for the show. Thanks so much. I really appreciate that.
And a big hug to everybody who's Brazilian out there who's listening to this. I love Brazil, and I love Brazilian food, and I love Brazilian people. And I'm a big fan of Astrud and her husband, the Gilbertos. That whole album, my God. I mean, it's world famous, of course,
Before you go, Fausto, if you can share a positive message or a positive quote, something that you live by.
You have only one life left to live. As far as we know, fearlessly be yourself. But that's not enough anymore. So, start your journey by pursuing your dreams. If I can do a bodybuilding contest at the age of 50, and I mean, it's a humiliating place. I'm going to be standing on a stage next to roided up muscle daddies. What am I doing to myself? And pursue that dream. Anybody can. Your dreams do involve humiliating yourself, because it means telling and sharing with your friends and family in the world something that is really important to you. And not everybody is going to appreciate it. Your show is not for everybody.
I think
it is for you, and it's for the guests, and it's for the people who tune in. And everybody else, it doesn't matter.
I think dreaming, there are no rules, you just need to follow your dreams without rules. You just believe it, embrace it, feel it, and go for it,
Well, I would say don't be mean. Don't hurt yourself. Try not to hurt yourself or others, But you might find up putting yourself in danger. I'm putting myself up in danger, This is not safe, what I'm doing. But, mountain climbing is not safe. Playing sports is not safe, Getting in a car is not safe,
But everything you do, you believe is worth to take the ride. So just go for it,
Yeah. Part of it is like sometimes on a beautiful day, all you want to do is just lie in the sun and close your eyes and just enjoy the weather, But life is short. Needs to get done, William.
Let's do it then. Let's do it.
Senor Ribeiro.
Fausto, thanks so much for the interview, and keep in touch. It was a pleasure having you on the show. Okay, regards to your partner. Okay, thank you so much.
Take care, William. Bye, everybody.
Bye. Ciao, ciao. So, did you like the show? Don't forget to give a like, share it, and also don't forget to subscribe to the channel. And if you'd like to be part of the show as well, first, subscribe to our channel, and after that, just go to our website, www.williamandthemagicbox.com, and send us a request saying why do you like to be part of the show. And I see you there. Bye bye, see you next time.